Hello and welcome to Books and Beyond. My name is Jimmy Bennett. I'm your host. And today we have a very special show. We're on location at Gilette Castle State Park in Hadlime, Connecticut. Behind me you can see the castle. William Gilette was a famous actor in the late 1800s and early 1900s. But aside being an actor, he was also a director, a playwright, and an inventor of many sound effects and other things they use in the theater. So he was transient most of his life. He lived on boats and rented houses and moved from place to place. But when he went into semi-retirement, he decided to put down roots, and he put down some roots. Gilette's Castle is a steel frame covered with native stone that was quarried here in Connecticut. Stories say that farmers used to bring wheelbarrows full of rocks, and Gilette would buy them, and they'd use them. And you can see there's stonework everywhere throughout the property. It's 117 acres, sits on the Connecticut River on a series of hills called the Seven Sisters. It is a beautiful location and a jewel in the Connecticut State Park. Now we're going to head inside, and because today is a special day, it is the 1920s picnic event hosted by the Friends of Gilette State Park organization that helps keep the park, maintain the park, and keep it vibrant, and hopefully will keep it safe and protected for many future generations. Hi, we're inside the Great Hall of William Gilette's Castle, and today I would like to introduce, she's been on my show before, but Lynn Wilkinson. Hi, Lynn. Can you tell us a little bit about the Friends of Gilette?
Yep. We are a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization, and our mission is to sort of supplement the care that the state takes of the castle and the grounds. So we restore some of the smaller areas around the property. One of the things we're very proud about is we put a sign up recently, and there's a clock actually over there on that wall that we repaired just a couple weeks ago. And one of the things we do, another thing we do is bring visitors to the castle, try to promote the castle. And today we're having a 1920s picnic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, how's this event going so far?
It's been a lot of fun.
There's a lot of people out there.
We have a lot of people,
Yeah.
and we have a lot of people inside. Yeah.
And part of the show, part of the picnic is dressing up in the regalia of the early 1900s. And we have a few models and a photographer here. So, Lynn, you've met, and you're...
Hi, my name is Willow, and I'm United States Navy corpsman. So I come out to do a lot of stuff like these events, get that authenticity by going to places like that. That's where I got this dress from. A couple of my other dresses, yes, they are brand new, but it's still that feel, that authenticity for whatever era that we're doing. Because the last shoot that we did was a Christmas shoot back in December. That was my first time here. So that dress I had had from like a year prior, but it was just fit perfectly here. So you just never know.
Nice.
So everyone associates the 20s with like the flappers and everything, and I kind of just want to do something a little bit different. The 20s was a big turning point for like women's rights and all that, and my outfit's actually inspired by a certain movie character. I don't know if you've ever seen The Mummy with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. So her character, this is exactly. Yeah. So I actually got this from a Goodwill for $12 along with the shoes, but the top and everything. It was kind of hard for me to search like vintage areas for these types of clothes. So a lot of these are on Prime, Amazon, like you were saying, but the book is mine. But yeah, and then everything I just threw some pearls on, and God, I think it's very sophisticated. And thank you.
I bought some things from Amazon, but also AliExpress for the suit. They do sell 3-piece suits, so this is actually it's a 4-suit.
That's a wonderful brooch, necklace.
Oh yes, yeah. And also just travel sometimes. Friends and family will give me things, and I'm like, I have a bracelet from my mom. I have this other pocket watch from Paris when I went and traveled there. And from New York, over time you just collect a bunch of different things, you put them on and show up.
Exactly.
Well, you guys have really enhanced an already beautiful spot. Thank you very much. Talk to me.
Thank you so much.
Hi, so we're inside the conservatory of William Gilette's castle. And I am here with the Nivers, Harold and Teddy. And Harold and Teddy portray William Gilette and Helen, his wife, and have for many years.
Many years. Since the 70s we've been.
Since the 70s?
Yes.
Oh my,
Been a
wow.
long time.
What drew you
Guess-
to start doing this?
Sherlock Holmes started the whole thing.
Well, our house is built around Sherlock Holmes. It's an English tutor on the front door. It says Baskerville Hall. And we started a Sherlock Holmes society called the Men on the Tour. And we used to hold meetings actually in the castle, in the main hall. And over the years, we got out of this society type thing. Somebody else has it now. And we just started coming on our own. And people would ask us questions and say, tell me this and tell me that. And so it evolved, developed.
Right.
And it was William Gilette's play that came over from England. John Woods, the Royal Shakespearean Company, came to the Bushnell to do the play Sherlock Holmes. And they called us, because they knew of our connection with Sherlock Holmes and everything, could we help promo the play out there? So there we went in costume at the Bushnell, and it just blossomed from there. And
Oh, nice.
and here we still are.
Nice. And you come up quite often, right?
Well, on Sundays usually.
Come up on Sundays,
Yeah.
you greet visitors, and
Yeah.
Yeah, after
Holidays.
church we have a nosh, and then we come here as soon as we can. It's 18 miles each way, so it's not too big.
Yeah.
There's another puppy out there.
Yeah.
Puppies all over the place. Hello,
See?
our puppy. And so it developed into a hobby, something we love. And if the weather's bad, why come? Because who's going to be here? And there's nothing like the smell of wet tweed walking in.
Yep.
So, but it's a fun hobby. That's all it is.
yeah, it's wonderful too. And I have to say, I remember reading a story one time that you used to sit in one of William Gilette's chairs,
Yes.
and you would sit so still
Well,
that people thought you were a mannequin.
in the library, and we made the old-fashioned director's chair. You know, the harness and the wood arms, and put Gillette on it. And I would be in front of the books. Now, when you go into the library, the room swings to the left, and all the books are there, the shelves. So if there's nobody there, I can, walk around. But if I know somebody's coming, because you can hear them, and I'll just sit in the chair, and with my elbow on my knee for balance, and not moving. And people come in, they say, "It's a mannequin?" "Yeah, it's a dummy." And then when I think it's right, I'll say, "Hello! Oh, gee, you made me poop in my pantaloons."
We do it outside too.
That's great.
And when we're on the terrace, he can stand right at the end of the terrace. And again, they think it's a statue. And we had a woman, her camera went up in the air. Oh my God.
Yeah, if I see people coming from the parking lot, I'll go to the end of the terrace, and I can lean against the railing for balance, and I do the thing. And when they're almost right underneath me, I'll say, "Welcome." And
You know, that's very reminiscent of William Gillette too, didn't
Yeah.
he? He used to love to sneak up on his
Oh,
guests and look at him and wait till the crowd was there before he made his grand
Exactly.
entrance. And he's had little passages,
He had-
stairways.
well, yeah, and he had the mirror. So he could see from his bedroom into the mirror as to who was coming in, or maybe who was at the bar. And he was a prankster. He really did.
Yeah.
Did we tell him about the bar?
Well, the bar, that was quite fun. In fact, one time there was the ladies' temperance group that came here. And he had it all closed up and whatever. And they're looking and trying to open it. And he said, "Oh, ladies, you're interested in a little something. Let me help you." Open it up. He got the chuckles out of them.
But if he would have guests, he would say, "Well, I'm going to dress for dinner." I always like to dress properly. And now help yourself to the bar. And you go over to the bar, and it was already shut up. And he pulls a lever out. It was a wooden lever. And you go up. Now he's getting dressed in his room, and he can see with the mirrors, they're going over to the bar. Boom, boom. And then he would come down, put the lever in. "Oh, I see you weren't interested in having anything."
That's great. And this is a beautiful spot inside the conservatory here. If we can pan around. We take a look at the frog pond. Because that was a funny thing about William Gillette. He always kept two frogs.
frogs.
Mike and Lena.
Mike and Lena.
They would disappear quite often because there were a lot of cats around here, you know, and this little baby would probably enjoy having a little
Yeah,
frog's legs, yes.
And then he'd just go down and get another frog and bring it back up. And
We had the
Mike and
pond out
Lena.
there, and you know, go ahead and get it. Plenty of.
And cats. He had many, many cats.
Yes, he loved cats. You know, think about it, because when he would, in fact, the fun stories are that when he would go to a new theater, the first thing that he would ask, instead of meeting the director or something, where's your house cat? And he would entice the cat into his dressing room.
He'd have some milk and cookies
wow.
and so on with him. And so he would, in fact, I read in a book once where there was no cat in the Sherlock Holmes play, but the house usually had a house cat. And during one performance, the cat wandered out on the stage. And the public is laughing like crazy. He didn't pay any attention. He picked it up, put it on the chair, just went on with the whole
Just
thing.
went on with his-
He
went on
rolled
with
with
the
the
fight,
punches.
Yeah.
He was an incredible man.
Oh, he
Yeah.
was. I have more stories, you know, fun stories that we can tell about, you know, about his sense of humor and people that he knew. Cat stories about Gillette as a person, that he could be generous, he could be tight. One of our favorite stories that we'd like to tell, because he was generous. And when Will died, really, there wasn't much left of his estate. For one thing, you know, we've gone through the Depression and all that was going on, but he was giving away money. He would take care, give the money to people he never even knew. And it was
wow.
always done quietly, not put into the papers or something, just done easily. So when we tell stories about him, and I say, well, you know, though, we do have to balance the scales, because, you know, yes, you were generous, but there were rumors that you were also could be a little tight with $1. And there's a great story about that his Charles Frohman, who was your agent. Charles Frohman was the most famous agent.
Right.
And actually, there was never a contract with him.
Just a handshake.
That was it. That's all. But Charles Frohman's one that tells this story about Will. They were in London, and they were in Will's apartments, and they were playing cards. You always like to play cards.
Oh,
Yeah, it
and I usually
hearts.
won.
Yeah, hearts were his favorite game because he would cheat. That's
Yeah,
why
well,
he
I
would win.
won.
Yeah. Move
Oh,
a little bit over here. Okay.
Oh.
I'm getting a little covered.
Yeah.
Shall I go on?
No, go ahead.
All right. So they were playing cards, and then they got a call because the ladies that were in the play with them, they weren't there at his apartment, but they had gone home, and they wanted to get something to eat, but they were not let in any place because they were not accompanied by a gentleman at that time. So they were called up. The fellas, we're hungry. We need something to eat. So the fellas, let's get something together and bring them to the ladies over at their apartments. So they got food together, and they got to the apartment, and they ring the bell, but the bell's broken. So they're banging on the doors, and there's no answers. The ladies are all the way up on the 3rd floor. So one of the fellas says, well, let's try throwing some coins, and, you know, we can get their attention that way. So they're throwing. And the fellow said, well, I only have 1 coin left. So Charles Frohman said, well, give the last coin to Gillette, because he can make a penny go farther than anyone I've ever seen in my life. And that's the truth.
That is
because
great.
Charles never told a lie.
Yep. That is great. Well, you know, it's a wonder. You guys have really done wonderful work up here. I've heard nothing. You know, many people are just overjoyed. You know, to see you, and you really make a nice accent on an already wonderful place.
Thank you.
And we thank you so much for all the years that you've done this.
Thank you.
And
Yeah,
wish
we
you many,
think
many more.
Oh, we want to be here as long as we can. It's our second home.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice little castle on the hill.
Well, thank you for talking to me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right.
Thank you.
So we're standing in front of the newly renovated sign for the Gillette Castle State Park. This sign came down a few years ago, and it's taken them a while, but through a lot of hard work and effort, they have managed to get it back up again, and it looks beautiful. Also, they're restoring a lot of the rock work around here, the stonework, and that's due mostly to a man named George Matters, who has been doing a fantastic job restoring everything back to the way it used to be, and making sure that this park stays as beautiful and complete as it was back in William Gillette's day. So we're here in the visitor center of Gillette Castle State Park. It's a beautiful center that they built, and I'm standing next to William Gillette's steam engine train, which is actually an electric train that he wanted to look like a steam engine, and he did have another steam engine. William Gillette had 3 miles of tracks that ran around his property, and he used to love to take his guests on a ride on this scaled down railroad track. As you can see, it's a smaller scale track and a smaller scale engine, but it pulled 3 cars full of passengers and traveled through tunnels, over bridges, through the woods near the pond. He had 3 stops, one called the 125th Station, one called Central Station, and one called Penn Station, where were turnarounds for the train. It's a beautiful piece of property, and to this day, you can still hike through the property. You can hike the trail that the trains ran on and see where all the beautiful landscaping and all the incredible engineering work that they did to put this railroad in for William Gillette. We're standing here in the souvenir shop of the visitor center at Gillette's Castle State Park. It's a nice little shop. It has some memorabilia for your visit here. We have thermoses, coffee mugs, glasses, steins, small pictures, and other memorabilia. And one thing I'm really kind of proud of is it has a wonderful book section, of which my 4 books are up here. My books are based on William Gillette and the castle back in the early 1900s when mysteries occurred upon the property and other places. William Gillette would take over his persona as Sherlock Holmes and go about solving the crime. So anyways, they're available up here, all signed. We have another wonderful selection of books too from other authors. So when you stop by, make sure you grab something on the way out to remember your visit. So we're here still up at the visitor center, but we're on the patio that is a seating area. It's a dining area for the Sherlock Grill, which is a nice little place to get lunch or snacks while you're here. As you can see, it's just an absolutely gorgeous vista from up here. This is the 7th of the 7 sisters, which are the hills named along the riverbank here that William Gillette built his castle upon. If you look out, it's a beautiful vista across the Connecticut, and then the Connecticut River's off in the distance. No leaves this time of year, so you can actually see the river. And from here, you look out, you got a magnificent view of Gillette's Castle. I'm standing under this beautiful stone arch that they had built here. This was a path, a walkway before, but the significant thing about this arch, or the thing that really fascinated me always, was from behind us at Grand Central Station, the railroad tracks would run along here on the other side of this rock wall. And then here at the bridge, at the archway, there was a bridge that the actual train would cross over. But there was a switch, and you can see the pin right over here that the swing bridge used to rest on. And then the bridge would swing out and people could walk in and out, and then it would swing back when the train ran. And over here they have a segment of the tracks that the train used to run on. It's narrowed down to about 1/3 the regular gauge of a railway, but that traveled, like I said before, over 3 miles throughout this property. So we're here at Grand Central Station. This is one of the stops that William Gillette had for his train. And you can see it's a beautiful stone work building overlooking the Connecticut River. And interesting enough, one of the things that's kind of fascinating about it is if you look up, you'll see 2 copper cats that he had placed up there. Of course, you know, William Gillette was extremely fond of cats. At one time had as many as 21 in the castle by legend. And once again, we can't help but show you this beautiful, beautiful vista of the Connecticut River. And if you look out right across the river there, you'll see the Hadlime Chester Ferry that runs pretty much through the summer months till late fall. And it comes in right down here below Gilette's Castle. And here we have a quick shot of the ferry in motion, heading across the river on a beautiful April afternoon. We're out here on the terrace of William Gilette's castle. It's a courtyard terrace. Down below me here, though it's no longer visible, there was an actual tramway that William Gilette built that actually carried materials from the river up to the castle. It was quite the engineering feat. As you know, he was quite the engineer on top of all his other talents. And the tramway and this courtyard figure prominently into my first book, The Case of the Flying Corpse, as the corpse is discovered right about here. From there, the rest of the story unfolds. So here's Gilette's Castle in its glory. And we're down by the fish pond here at Gilette's Castle State Park. And with me is...
My name is Akiko Thompson.
My name is Mas Hongo.
And Peter Thompson, husband.
And they're with the Japanese Society of Connecticut and the Japanese Society...
Japanese Society of Greater Hartford.
Of Greater Hartford.
It is a non-profit organization. We aim to promote mutual understanding between Japan and the U.S. and to promote the friendship.
And there's a special connection here with William Gilette through his good friend Ozaki.
Yep.
With the cherry trees that are at the tidal basin in Washington, D.C. They were donated by Ozaki's brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
That's right.
there's one here, right?
This is second generation of the Washington, D.C. so-called Sidmore cherry trees. And we planted about 2 years ago. It was originally proposed by this Akiko-san to get cherry trees from Osaki-san's hometown in Japan, which is Sagamihara in Yokohama. And that's what we did. We asked that society in Japan to send cherry trees from Mr. Osaki's hometown. And it was held at Baltimore for quarantine purpose. So the one we planted here is a second generation of Washington, D.C. Sidmore cherry trees. Yes.
Oh, wow. That is
So
great.
this is phase one. Phase two, we're planning to plant some cherry trees at Osaki's cemetery, Cove Cemetery.
Oh,
And phase three, we're going to plant more cherry trees on that west side and the east side of the Connecticut River bank.
oh, that would be beautiful.
At the ferry, yes.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
Yep.
And they are at this time they are working on renovating, getting the funds and getting
Yes,
together to renovate Mr. Ozaki-san's house
yes.
down at the bottom of the hill towards
Yes.
the Chester Ferry.
Yes.
And that'll be very exciting when that comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get very excited too.
Yeah,
Very
we're
good.
excited.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us.
No problem.
We appreciate it very
for your
much.
time and energy.
Can't wait for the more to come in. Oh, wait, we got one more man. Here we are. And you're
My name is Peter Watson. I'm the president of the Japan Society of Greater Hartford.
right. Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
Good,
So,
thank you for asking.
now, did you guys come out for this event? Or just did it just sort of coincide?
Since last year, we've been celebrating the cherry trees that we planted at Gilette Castle, and this is our second year coming. And we were hoping that we were going to come in time to enjoy some of the cherry blossoms, but unfortunately, the weather did not cooperate with us.
Yeah.
So they were kind of past.
It is a tradition in Japan. In the springtime, people goes for the cherry blossom viewing.
Yep.
In Connecticut, people has beautiful cherry trees personally, but no place to go for cherry blossom viewing, and that's why we planted here.
That's wonderful.
In Japan, it's very common to have many, as far as the eye can see, cherry trees planted around mountains or rivers.
Right.
And, like Moss described, hopefully we can plant some more in the area and try to recreate that kind of feeling here in Connecticut.
That's great. Because there is nothing more beautiful than cherry trees and the blossoms when they fly. It's just
They're
unbelievable.
like dancing stars.
Yeah.
Floating.
Yep. Floating. Yep. Well, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
All right, and hopefully we'll run into you guys again.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you
Nice
very
meeting
much.
you.
Take care. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for your time
Thank
and
you.
energy. Yeah,
Thank you, sir. Take care.
Thank you.